brighten up those already bright mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Wheeler, Ollie, and AJ. As a matter of fact, Lecter has taken the morning off, or he's dead, or he's missing. I can't decide which. Not that I decided. Not that I'm the decider in that.
We're looking into it.
We're looking into it. Okay, good. So we don't know yet.
No, we're just waiting to hear back from Nicole.
So I really covered my tracks well.
You did.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, good morning to everybody. It's Thursday morning. Wheeler, Ollie, and AJ with you. We were just talking about my T-shirt.
Yes.
I've had this for a while, and this was actually made famous by a tribe called Red.
Oh.
And it's a Caucasian shirt.
Yes, instead of
the Cleveland Indians.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so this is a mockery of the Cleveland Indians.
Gotcha.
So what's going on right now is a lot of these team names, they're getting a ton of pressure.
Yep.
So the Washington Redskins are getting the most pressure they've ever felt on this thing because advertisers are pulling out. So this is the way we seem to be able to do things. You tack that money. Sponsors are also giving pressure to the
Facebook's still there, though, isn't it?
That's right. But that's right. A lot of pressure being put on the Edmonton Eskimos now as well. Their sponsors coming out at them. Cleveland Indians seem to be getting a lot more pressure now too. So
it seems like almost more traction. I'd say there's always been a lot of pressure.
There's always been a lot of pressure, more traction now. You're absolutely right with everything that's going on right now, and there's a lot of these things coming to light, a lot of more pressure, a lot of more people feeling like they're able to say something and actually put the pressure on these teams to change their names. There it is. So I just figured it was, I don't know, I found it on the top of the pile, figured I'd put it on.
It's a good-looking shirt.
It is a good-looking shirt. I love it. A lot of people find it offensive. But hey, there's the irony, and the irony is delicious.
Delicious.
It's good for breakfast. Better than my breakfast. I had a peanut butter chocolate chip cookie and some coffee.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
Talking about my poor choice for breakfast, but as I was running out the door, I grabbed peanut butter and chocolate chip cookie that I made on Sunday. I got a couple of bags of them. They're delicious. And not a great breakfast, but tastes really good with my coffee.
But a breakfast nonetheless.
It's the most meal of the day.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the most important anymore.
I skip it quite a bit.
It depends on what you're doing, I guess, right? Because, I mean, the last time I had a personal trainer, they said you gotta have something hearty in the morning because you're going to be working out, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not working out.
Well, there's the whole fasting thing.
Skip breakfast, have a light lunch, and a big dinner.
Yeah, like 2 o'clock.
Something like that. Yeah.
Brief tangent. How did you get on with a personal trainer? I've always wondered that, whether I should go and get a personal trainer.
I've done it a couple of times, and it's actually, I mean, if one can afford it, because I mean it is expensive.
Yeah.
And has the time. It's actually a great way to get yourself motivated because you're there. That one person's giving you that attention for that hour or however long it is, and there's no escaping it. I feel like if I go to the gym on my own, I'll do like a set of something, walk around for 10 minutes and stretch it out, and then do another set. Whereas like the personal trainer's on you, he's like, okay, you got 30 seconds to rest. Okay, let's go. There's someone there just kind of constantly on you, which helps a lot. Yeah. So like when we did the Life Change thing, that's a great program because like there's, obviously that's even better actually because there's a lot of people around you, and not only are you watching people like succeed and push through, you're watching people fail, and that helps you with your confidence as well.
Because they're also watching me fail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, you're shared failure.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't feel like I can't do this when you look over and there's two people who are just having as much trouble as you are. It's like, okay, we can do this together.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the peanut butter.
Yeah.
The peanut butter cookies. I mentioned this as my bad breakfast, and Ollie immediately said, "Oh, peanut butter, can't do it." Ollie, what? You don't have an allergy to peanut butter?
No. I
just don't like the peanut butter.
I guess it's possibly a cultural thing.
Okay.
Because peanut butter is not
a big thing in the
UK.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've never had a peanut butter sandwich, like in any shape or form, ever. Because it's just wasn't something in the house.
Yeah.
And you just grow up, you would not even think to put peanut butter on anything. It wasn't something, I didn't even know where it was in the shops. I remember I remember people coming over from Canada.
Yeah. And they brought
wanting to go out and find peanut butter, and then asking me like, where in the grocery store is it? And we had to go and ask people, who then had to go and ask people.
Wow.
And it was on a tiny specialty shelf.
Oh wow.
So, and it wasn't even any of the, I don't know, all the brands that you can't even name any brands, but all the brands that you have over here. I remember being told that this was some very special, like, organic weird peanut butter that was more like the butter of peanuts than peanut butter.
Screw that organic peanut butter.
Like crushed peanuts.
Yeah. Where the oil separates at the top and all that. You got to mix it up every time. It tastes terrible. Interesting.
So very different background, and I've never been comfortable with even the smell of the stuff.
Interesting.
Someone will open a jar of that stuff across the room and start making a sandwich, and I will look to leave.
Wow.
Because you could just hit it comes across and hits you. Oh, what is that?
That's the sound it makes when you scoop it up.
Yeah.
People,
I got that.
Yeah.
People bring in cookies.
Yeah.
Like, oh, amazing cookies. Then you open the container that they're in and you get that. So I'm like, oh, no. That's the worst. That is the worst. When they look really enticing, chocolate chip cookies, and you get close enough to smell them and you get that peanut butter hit. You're like, oh, these have been poisoned.
Remind me to redo the pickled herring bit, but I'll eat just a gob of peanut butter, and Ollie will sit on the other side going,
just licking it off of a spoon.
I'll have my jar of herring.
I love doing that.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, some chunky, just get it on a spoon.
I mean, listen, maybe if we combined herring and peanut butter, then we'd find a breakfast that was sort of a compromise deal for both of us.
Oh, God, you're making me gag now, too.
Well, that sounds better than just normal herring.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, at least there's a little peanut butter in there.
There you go.
So what do you... Okay, so you haven't had a peanut butter sandwich. What do you... I mean, I'm trying to think of back when we were in the UK and, like, wandering around grocery stores.
Like, what's the sandwich staple?
Marmite?
Like, PBJ here is the sandwich when you're growing up.
A crispy Chonko sandwich or whatever it's called in the UK.
Fish and chips.
For me, it would probably have been a cheese and tomato sandwich.
Okay. I mean, I like a cheese and tomato sandwich.
Or, like, a jam sandwich. I got made a lot as a kid.
Jam.
Or
jam.
What you guys would call jelly.
What? Okay. We call jelly and jam are different.
So for us, like a strawberry jelly, like that thing that you get out and you spread on toast or whatever, we would call strawberry jam.
Okay, well, we
don't call it jelly.
We don't call it jelly.
You don't?
We call it
Okay.
jam.
I've heard some people call that jelly in the past.
Well, jelly
here.
and jam are different. Jelly is more prevalent in the U.S. Jam is more prevalent here.
Jelly is a dessert thing in the UK. So if you make a jelly, it's a thing that wobbles. You guys call it Jello, I think?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But
is that what jelly is?
That's a branding thing.
We're learning so much.
So that's what we call jelly, is that wobbly thing that you have as a dessert. That's called Jello over here.
That's like tissue and Kleenex.
Yes,
Jelly
but I mean,
and Jello. Jello is a branding thing.
Yeah, Jello. Okay. Yeah, exactly. It's like Band-Aid, Kleenex, Jello. Those are all brands, but they've just become the de facto name for these things.
So yeah, the go-to sort of sweet sandwich would have been just putting some strawberry jam on white bread and eating that. Like my grandmother made that all the time when I was a kid.
That's nice.
But I would have probably had just an egg sandwich for breakfast rather than anything with peanut butter in it, and cheese sandwich.
No Wheat Bix?
Weetabix, yes.
Weetabix.
All right. I think it's different in some places.
It
some
is.
Some it has the A, some it doesn't.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I think it's right up there with jelly, Jello, all this other stuff. Basically, it's a mess.
All right.
It's a mess.
Peanut butter on Weet-Bix, dipped in jelly.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast. Hey, it was early. What do you want from us?
We got a taste of unlimited data plans for internet over the past few months.
And boy, was it sweet.
Oh, so sweet. Just being able to download and watch whatever you wanted to watch without fear of going over your limit, not having to downgrade the resolution on any of your streaming services.
Yeah, that was nice.
Well, because all the new stuff on Netflix is streaming at Ultra 4K. Whatever the hell that means.
What does that even mean, yeah?
What does it even mean? But what it does mean is that it's about 10 gigs an hour or something like that. Between 7 and 10 gigs an hour of watching. So when
I can barely tell the difference. I'm going to be honest with you. 1080p.
No, you can't.
1080p, anything better than 1080p? I'm like, I don't...
Well, before we get into the Northwest-South thing, we'll get into that because we're going to go from 4K to 8K to 16K or whatever it's going to be, because 8K TVs are starting to come out now, but nothing's broadcasting in 8K. Things are just starting to broadcast now in 4K. Streaming services and TV will be next. And it's going to get to the point, and I've talked to a few people about this who are kind of nerds about it, not experts, but nerds about it, who are saying, like, if we go any further, like, you're not even going to be able to distinguish it. Like, it'll just be... you can't really tell the difference between 4K and 8K. With games and some movies, yes, but for TV, it's indistinguishable. It's a negligible difference.
Oh, it doesn't make sense. What, are you going to get hit by sweat or something?
I guess. I hope so. I hope my TV squirts at me.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. What? 4D, it squirts out water and squirts out scents?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be
cool.
5D, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you have the glasses for the 3D. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Be weird.
Sorry, what?
No, it's all right. I'm imagining 4D TV now, where you just enter your television and go back through time.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be fun. Oh man, can you imagine just stepping out into an episode of I Love Lucy? That'd be fun.
Yeah, I guess.
Anybody?
Sure.
I'll do the chocolate episode. Just throw a bunch of chocolates at them. And
You see-
nobody gets my I Love Lucy reference.
No, they don't.
No.
I'm starting to feel quite bad for watching. Oh, that's unfortunate. This cricket match in
Yeah.
front of me right now because I've just realised, it's 5 days of 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I'm streaming 40 hours worth of live cricket this week through the Cabin Radio Network. Sorry about that.
We have
AJ.
plenty.
That's all right.
We have plenty of internet here.
We've just been, we got an extra, 150 gigs or something?
Yeah, we don't have to go out California way for internet. We're here. We got it.
England.
But you're probably not watching it in 4K though. You're probably watching it in 720p.
Whatever rubbishy thing it.
Yeah.
The Zone lets me stream it. England are doing very badly anyway, so let's move on.
Fair enough. But we did, like I said, we got that taste of that unlimited internet. But now Northwestel, after the overcharges waiver was done last month, they've decided to up everybody's packages. So if you had like a 300 gig package, you go to 450. Unfortunately, if you had the 30 gig package, I don't know what hole you live in, but if you had the 30 gig package, you only got an extra 5.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that messaged in about that.
Yeah.
The fact that you
Like,
only
why
got
do I only
additional
get 5?
I'm like, no, the problem is that you have the stupidest package you can possibly have.
You have the silliest package.
The one that I could understand was people who had the 150 gig package, which I believe went to 160.
Yes, that made
is
no sense.
Not exactly a massive leap.
Not at all. I got like 150% more, and they get less than 10% more, whatever they get. What's that? 5% more.
That starts to feel a little more like Northwestel saying, you guys don't pay us enough, so
Exactly.
screw it.
Yeah. And I mean, as much as I hate to admit this, 139.95 for the 300 gig package, now 450 package, sounding very reasonable.
Well, so first thing I did was downgrade my package.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, because you get the upgrade anyway.
I don't even use the whole gigabytes that I had in the first place all the time. So I just downgraded. So now I have the same.
Don't tell them
gig
that.
Don't exactly. Yeah, because they're going to try.
Honestly,
more
I had
people
a
who
conversation
downgrade,
with the guy.
they're going to up the prices. And I mean, bless Northwestel with all their little hearts, but at some point those prices will go up. You know, I've got my 450 gigs at $140 a month. It'll go up at some point.
So, but with all this stuff with the CRTC, it's starting to make me think: do they have a lot? They clearly have a lot more involvement in this. Right? It's not just Northwestel dictating this.
Right.
Like, how does this all work?
All right, this stick with me through
One
this.
second, without knowing precisely what's going on with Ollie Williams.
Beautiful. So bear with me through the next few minutes of your lives.
It's a bear.
Okay? Northwestel has to apply to the CRTC anytime it changes anything.
Yes.
Whether it makes it more expensive or less. The reason for that is that it has market dominance in the north. So it doesn't have a rival that can keep its prices down.
What's another
you can
word
switch
for
to
that?
the other guys. It's a monopoly.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is supposed to be illegal.
Well, it's difficult though because
There's nowhere else to provide.
It costs a huge amount of money. Let's be fair to Northwestel briefly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It costs a ridiculous amount of money to provide the infrastructure.
That's true.
To get this stuff going.
It's very true.
Now, there's a whole lot of other stuff on top of that about how much money it costs once it's in place, how much it costs. Not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But the basic thing is that the CRTC has to have a say anytime Northwestel changes anything. It essentially acts as an ombudsperson to say, yes, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So even when Northwestel went to change the overage fees in March, to waive the overage fees, it had to go to the CRTC and say that's what we're going to do. When it did that in March, it put in an application, first of all, that said we're going to waive the overages and we're going to introduce unlimited data from May 2020. In other
Yes.
words, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But in order for us to do that, the CRTC, you guys, have to change this thing you're doing where you're taking away this subsidy from us that is being phased out and you're going to give it back to us.
Yeah.
So Northwestel basically said, and I'm reducing this down a bit, give us back $6 million that you're taking from us and we'll introduce unlimited data plans for everybody here.
And the CRTC was like, nah.
Yeah, the CRTC said, listen, this is supposed to be an emergency pandemic-related application.
Yeah.
Either it's about the pandemic or it isn't, but you can't start adding on ultimatums about money to your pandemic emergency relief.
Yeah.
Please reapply and just deal with the pandemic stuff.
Yeah.
Which they did, and we got the overage waiver.
We did. For 4 months.
For 4 months.
I think that they're just busy on our application, probably, right? I mean,
That's probably what the CRTC is worried about. Listen, have you heard anything about Cabin Radio?
But then what happened was that the plan to unveil unlimited data packages evaporated.
Yes.
And so it was mentioned in that first application. 1st of May, unlimited plans, we can do it. Now, we went and phoned Northwestel this week and said, right, what is the deal with these? Our reporter Emily Blake did this story. And Northwestel said, well, actually, we already had an older application in with CRTC from October last year, asking again for a set of funding to get this done for all northern communities. And once the CRTC says yes, if it does say yes, then it'll happen over the space of 3 years after that. Now, what I don't quite understand is how it was possible to say you could have done it on the 1st of May if now you're telling us that once you get the go-ahead, it'll happen over the space of 3 years. Like,
so it'll be introduced within 3 years.
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Interesting.
But even that, sort of, how come it sounded like a pretty cast iron, like May 2020, we'll have unlimited packages.
We got it going on.
And now it sounds like, well, if they say yes, we'll make it happen. Now, it may be to do with the amount of money coming in, and they were saying if we get these $6 million in, then we can make it happen just like that. I don't know. It's complicated, I'm sure. But the bottom line that you need to take away from all of this is that they do intend to offer unlimited plans.
Yeah.
It depends on what the CRTC says to this, and the CRTC may not say yes. And if the CRTC does say yes, then you're looking at a period of years. Yellowknife, you would think, would probably be one of the first to get those packages, bearing in mind it already has the infrastructure in place to clearly cope with it. Mm-hmm. It may be that length of time is what is needed to roll it out everywhere else.
Well, because their proposal includes fiber-to-home service in some communities using Telsat's low Earth orbit satellites for others, and upgrade its hybrid fiber coax broadband network in the remainder. So you're probably right. Hay River, Yellowknife, Hay River, kind of central cities already have that infrastructure in place. They get it first, and then it gets slowly rolled out as you build that infrastructure elsewhere.
Worth adding that I've got no idea what the price would be on any of that. I mean, traditionally, when we've talked about this in the past, we've talked about, just slap $50 on top of whatever you're paying right now. But if you're going to be in a community that's going to be served by a Telesat low Earth orbit satellite,
might be a bit more,
and you're getting unlimited data through that, I don't know what that costs. That sounds pricey to me.
Yes. Well, and that's why Elon Musk, bless his little heart, wants to do that everywhere around the world. He wants to throw out hundreds and thousands of low Earth orbit satellites to cover isolated communities.
I honestly feel like Elon Musk is probably the one person that Northerners would enjoy complaining about more than Northwestel if he was in charge of the internet. Like, everybody enjoys the whole Northwestel sucking the money away and then providing this service.
But there's no person there to really just throw that at.
There's nobody to fixate on.
No.
Right? But
you need a face to complain.
If Elon Musk takes it over, and then billionaire Elon Musk starts to become the whipping boy for every problem with Northern Internet, great stuff.
That's
I can
right.
see the people of the North signing up for that in a moment. The Muskox will have, there'll be some sort of funeral pyre built for the Muskox that'll be thrown on top of it, like Guy Fawkes. I'm not condoning that. Just briefly add.
I don't know.
Please don't burn the
Muskox.
Yeah.
Just because it has that stupid name doesn't mean you have to burn it.
It is a stupid name.
Elon's a common name. It's not necessarily
it's a common name. I think you mean
Musk.
Egon from the Ghostbusters. And remember, the Muskox at City Hall did not make their fortune inheriting blood emerald money.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
Joined by wonderful friend of the show, Bridget Rusk. Welcome back.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. We always like having you on just for shiggles, but you posted up recently that you have an injury. And I can see it right in front of me here.
A busted wing.
A busted wing. You were playing some slow pitch. I thought you threw it out. I thought you just heave something in from the outfield.
Which didn't make sense.
No, did it not?
But the real answer makes less sense than that.
Makes less sense. So I thought you heaved something in from the outfield and it just popped out. But tell everybody why you got a busted wing.
Yeah, clip my wings. Can't fly anymore this summer.
Too close to the sun.
I was at bat.
Yes.
And I had the best hit I've had in my life. I was aiming for the outfield. I was going.
Did it land there?
Is
that where it landed, or you're aiming for
it made it past the stand.
Yeah.
Into the green.
Worth it then.
Worth it.
And as it connected with the bat, I felt my bone that usually you don't feel suddenly was just gliding past my collarbone.
Oof.
And then because of the momentum of the swing, it slid right back in. So I
Sheer power.
yeah, simultaneously
So much power in it.
dislocated and then reducted that shoulder.
Oh.
And then because I felt it go back in, I figured, okay, well,
I'm good.
I just had the best hit ever, and it feels like it's back in, so I might as well run to base. And then
Got that batter's high.
yeah, it's just the athlete in me.
That's
and
right.
then the next person came up and they hit, and I just kept going and kept playing, and then once I got back to the bench, I did make it home. Was not ever out. I was sitting there and I was like, yeah, that one hurt quite a bit. Like, I am quite sore. And they were just like, yeah, the big ones, they can hurt.
Just justifying their own unathleticism.
Yeah, I was
That's
like, that's
hilarious.
not quite what I meant. And so
yeah.
I did not go back, and I have resigned from the softball team.
Oh, slow pitch players just justifying
Awesome.
how bad their bodies are.
people don't realize how much cardio you need to get to first base.
I put something in my rib cage because I was hitting so hard. Yeah, that's how I pulled my hammy. I had a great big hit.
Yeah, you're too strong.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. When
It
I played
happens.
last year and I nearly pulled my groin, it's because I hit it
Too
to the
fast.
outfield.
You're too
fast. Actually, you know what? That's the thing, though. Like in your brain, in my brain, I still think I'm in my 20s, and I've always been a big guy, but I can run fast over short distances.
Yep.
Last year, no. My body's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's like, where have you been the last 10 years?
Yeah, I'm going to dislocate your hip.
We can't do this anymore, man.
No, we can't. We're fine. We're fine otherwise. But I mean, we can't do that anymore.
No.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your injury.
Yeah.
It looks like in your Instagram post, you just kind of had like a makeshift sling, but it looks like you got a proper sling now.
Yeah. So
And you
I've
got
now
the KT
seen.
tape on your shoulder.
Yeah, I've now seen the physio and got
Okay.
a proper sling.
Okay, good. Have you started physiotherapy? No, I mean, it's still. Have you started physio already? Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you'd have to wait a couple of weeks.
Well, you see,
For the
When
inflammation
it goes
to go
right
down.
back in like that, that's a good thing.
That's
Yeah.
right. It means you got loose ligaments.
Well, actually, it means that they're not that loose, because if it goes back in, they're tight enough that
Oh,
it
that's
actually
true, yeah.
naturally pulls it back in.
That's
if
right.
you have really loose ligaments, you'll get it back in and it'll just pop back out.
It'll pop back out, or you'll tear something, or you'll stretch them to the point where they don't come back tight
That's a good
again.
point. Yeah,
So
yeah.
now you got to watch out for that for the rest of your life.
yeah,
That'll be fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just don't hit as hard.
can't stop the athleticism.
Can you just stand up and give us an example of that swing?
I'm all clipped in.
I'm all clipped
Oh, that's
in.
the reason.
That's
I
right.
shouldn't do
Sure.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
It takes
Whatever.
me about 5 minutes to apply this.
I'd have to take my sling off, is why I'm not going to show you this swing.
It took you about 5 minutes to get the headphones on, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was kind of sitting here like, do you want a hand? No.
Yeah.
I'm an independent
I
woman.
can do this.
Fair enough. It's okay to take help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what my therapist tells me.
Which one?
Yeah. Out of all 5 of them,
Yeah. Your physiotherapist?
try again.
Well, we're glad you're okay. You seem in good spirits.
Yeah,
We had an ulterior motive to have you in today.
yeah,
Other than just having you here and hanging out
Yeah.
and hearing about your injury. We were talking the other day about, because we drove out to Madeline Lake to do a video shoot the other day. And I've noticed all these lakes that I've been driving by since I was a kid. Some are starting to grow over. Like some lakes are getting encroachments from the vegetation and things like that. So there's the lake that's right before Prosperous. It's a little lake. I don't even think it probably has a name on the map. Doesn't have any signs denoting what it is, but it's starting to grow over pretty hard. Prosperous in parts is starting to grow over pretty hard, like more than I've ever seen before. So we were talking about why and how lakes die, because I've flown out to the East Arm, flown over the Shield a bunch of times, and you see hundreds and hundreds of lakes. Some are thriving, some are starting to grow over, and some that have grown over. You can see where they were. So we were talking about how that happens and why. And I said that it was this is what I said. It's on record.
Yep.
All right.
I was here, man.
I know. More sediment, growing vegetation, and not enough water flow. So there's not enough movement, which would create oxygenation, I guess, in the water. So yeah, that's what I said. We wanted to ask you your expert opinion, since this is your day job. Why do lakes die?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk about this. Okay, so that process is called eutrophication.
Eutrophication?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the kind of textbook term. So basically what is happening, and it is a natural process that happens cyclically.
Yeah.
But what you're seeing is the lakes will fill up with the basin with sediment. They become a bit shallower. Maybe the water level also drops down if they do get cut off from the water source. In addition, the surrounding landscape, like they might get more organic matter coming in. And so that means more nutrients is coming in and is available for plants to grow. So initially, when you have a crisp, cool, clear lake, that means that there's not a lot of nutrients that's available. And then you might also have like really deep cold water that's nice for the fish, but then as it becomes shallower and becomes warmer and plants start to grow, they use up a lot more of the oxygen that's available at depth. And then here especially, we have an extended ice cover season. And so when there is ice, there's not wind to mix and get the nutrients and oxygen mixing, especially at depth. So then you get what's called anoxic conditions, where basically it's a dead zone, especially for fish at depth. And so then they just start to die off. So we've seen that in lakes like Frame Lake, where there aren't any fish anymore.
No.
Because it's just a bunch of organic matter, a bunch of nutrients, a bunch of plant growth. And
now, when you say organic matter in Frame Lake,
yes.
Are we talking about duty here?
You were talking about poopy.
Yeah, so that's not necessarily the same organic matter that you'll find on the Ingram Trail in Frame Lake. That's because it's a former sewage lagoon.
That's right. Remember?
So it's just pumped in.
Remember when Yellowknife had no idea what it was doing and it just started pumping poop in
Ever
every
wonder
lake
where it
surrounding?
goes?
You know what? I feel like at one point they were like, the city was like, we're never going to grow out that far. Just put the poop in the lake.
Yeah. If you're wondering where it goes when you flush the toilet, it used to be Frame Lake.
It used to be Frame Lake. And then it was Cam Lake.
So it really expedited the process. So it went a lot faster in Frame Lake than what you're seeing now up the Ingram.
Of course. Yeah.
Rich organic matter.
Rich organic matter. Oh, I just need it for a mask. I need my skin to be organic.
You would be glowing if
I
you
would
put
be
some
glowing.
rich organic matter all over your face.
I just want it.
Some
it's so
say,
filled with nutrients.
Some say that you're actually full of rich organic matter sometimes on the show.
Yeah, they do. They do. They say I spew organic matter out of my mouth.
And the other thing about a lot of the lakes around here, too, is that they're like the basin doesn't have a really deep point. So the lake is almost like a thumbprint on the landscape. So it's like a shallow pan.
Yeah.
And so if it warms up, it kind of warms up equally and quickly.
Okay.
So
those lakes that are on their way out and you said it was cyclical, which I also pointed out when we talked.
You did.
But does that mean they could come back? Like kind of revive themselves a little bit? Or is there a tipping point where they're like, all right, now you're done?
Well, if the water source from other lakes started flowing into it again, would that kind of recover it?
It kind of depends on what the source of the change is. If it's a kind of like overall landscape change, so if it's being changed because it's getting a lot of inflow from permafrost thaw, it's harder to change that back versus if it's something that you pumped in sewage, then you could perhaps also remediate that versus if it's farther away on the landscape and there's been recreational users versus also just, it's changing into a wetland.
Yeah.
That's harder to change back.
Okay. Fair enough. Will you hang out for a little bit? Mm-hmm. Awesome.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
Still, she won't leave. Friend of the show, Bridget Rusk.
She's dislocated her hip.
Yeah,
she can't leave.
She can't leave.
I need medical attention.
She tried to show us how high she could kick.
And all I heard was this. And it was like, ah! Oh, my God.
Well, sit down. We'll do another break.
Just continue hanging out. Thank you for continuing to hang out. It's always a pleasure having you. We were talking before, actually, we went on the first time. We were talking about how Frame Lake, back in the day, even before my time, was a recreational beach. McNiven Beach, right there next to the tennis courts, right by the pool. Even when I was a kid, we were told, don't go in there. You'll get leeches. I don't think as a kid I knew it was a sewage dump.
Yeah, we weren't told it was leeches. We were told it's just not clean.
It's not clean. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we were told it was leeches, and I remember getting a leech on my foot back in the day.
That's
for like,
scarier to a kid, I think.
I think so.
Uncleanliness, a kid's like, whatever.
I lived behind Johnson's Building Supplies, which is the Quonset hut down on Franklin Avenue. Everyone knows. Before that was filled in, and that back parking lot, it used to fill up every summer, right? The snow and the rain would fill it up, and it would be like 2 or 3 feet deep.
Sweet.
And I would swim in it.
Why not?
I just jump in,
because
swim.
there's no leeches.
Because who cares?
Because there's no little blood suckers that are going to scare you off.
Dog poop and all kinds of other things.
Yeah, you could maybe get impetigo.
Bro, I got impetigo when I was 10.
Probably from that pool.
Son of a... Oh, no. I got it on my upper lip. Oh, no. Oh, it was bad.
What is it?
Quick tangent. It is a skin infection.
Okay.
So, quick tangent. This is what happened. I bit into some pizza. The sauce got up on my lip. So it burned my upper lip, above my lip. Like my mustache area.
Yeah.
And so I wiped it off, but the rest of the night I was licking it because it made it feel better. And it got infected.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. And for weeks it got infected. And it became like, this is gross for breakfast people, but it became like crusty and infected. And so once I started treatment on it took about 2 weeks, antibiotic creams and all this stuff. But every morning I have to wake up and go and stretch my mouth and go like this to crack the crusty stuff on my lip. It was so bad. I got it from swimming in poo-infested waters.
Yep.
Yeah, my sister, my younger sister, because usually the reason that people get impetigo is from other kids.
Yeah.
But you were probably patient zero. Like my younger sister would get it because she would go out into the forest and make war paint.
Out of dirt and stuff like that. It was probably filled with animal poop.
Yeah.
Organic matter. Rich nutrient-rich organic matter. Oh, my God. Okay, back to the Frame Lake thing. So it used to be a recreational place. We see old pictures on YK Memories or whatever of, like, little islands you could swim out to, like the docks with
they
slides
had like a
on
big
them.
wood fort that was anchored in
Huge,
just off the beach.
that you could play on. I mean, super dangerous now because who wants
would not pass
who wants
inspection
a
today.
Big old
Probably
splinter
dislocation worthy.
in their butt.
Yeah, for some people. Other people would be fine. You know what I mean.
So, I mean, but obviously, I don't know if that was during the time it was a sewage dump or when it was a sewage dump per se, but that's what it used to be. So we were talking about what we would need to do because it's a perfect place. It's a lake, a nice-sized lake in the middle of the city.
Can we get it back?
Can we get it back? Because in the winter, obviously, super recreational, snowmobile trails, cross-country ski trails,
they clear the rink,
all kinds of stuff going on in the winter. What would we need to do to get it back to that in the summer, a recreational place? Bridget, your expertise.
Yeah, so I'm working with a couple of people who are trying to answer that exact question. So I don't know the extent of where it is right now, but definitely there is no oxygen at the bottom for fish to survive.
Yeah.
And it is probably, if you swim in it, you might get a
Impetigo.
not necessarily
a crusty
impetigo.
lip.
A crusty lip.
But you might come out and you need to kind of rinse off because you'd have a bacteria infection potentially on your skin.
And we talked about that with Long Lake too. On particularly hot summers, it can get that way too. I remember as a kid. I don't know if I haven't seen that warning in a while, but when we were a kid, they'd have a warning up that said, if you're going to swim, shower afterwards. Don't let it sit because you could get some sort of infection or bacterial whatever.
Interesting. I guess I've kind of had it. I've had like little rashes, but granted, I was swimming in a quarry that had just slowly filled up with water over time.
Yeah, there's probably a bunch of dead deer at the bottom of that.
There were cigarette butts everywhere.
There we go.
So one kind of solution is to get circulation at depth over the winter time. So kind of like what you'd see at a golf course, like where they have fountains.
Yeah.
But what you don't want is you don't want to disturb the upper levels of water because it is such a huge recreational use of water that we need that thick ice cover.
Absolutely.
Now, why would you want a fountain on your sand golf course? It just doesn't make any sense.
So the water traps don't grow over.
Yeah.
Well, famously, there's one just outside of Stanley Park. There's a little lake, and there's a huge fountain that's in there that you drive out of Stanley Park, and there's this big fountain. It's for that exact reason.
Well, that's nice. But this one's so under the you wouldn't even see it.
So how would you do that?
Yeah. So the essentially it would get the 5 kilometers loop of Frame Lake circulating and bubbling and kind of producing oxygen. But unfortunately, those systems are pretty pricey. Like they're upwards of $70,000.
Yeah. But, hey, if we're going to make tourism the linchpin of our entire economy, why not try to do something with Frame Lake and make
Never mind tourism for the locals.
For the locals, baby.
70 grand?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, for one. That would be for one.
Yeah, how many do you need?
Way. Yeah, like.
You know what?
For 5
you guys could definitely talk to Derek Gray, but
Derek Gray.
Yeah.
All
right, Derek, you're on notice.
We'll look him up.
We're going to look you up. But I mean, yeah, for the locals, but also for tourism to be able to have,
for sure.
Obviously, but to be able to have a lake that you could go to in the middle of the city and like swim in. And,
happy local, happy tourist. That's the saying.
Absolutely. And a small lake within the city that doesn't have 4 or 5 power boats running on all the time.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm not even going to mention Long Lake. I think it's a little busy.
It's a little crowded. It can be a little crowded.
It's a little crowded for sure. That's what it is. And no one wants to take it away,
especially on a hot day.
It's crowded. Yeah.
You don't have to drive to it. You could just walk over.
Exactly.
Walk
That's
home.
the best part. You could go like
take a swim for your lunch hour. You know,
be awesome.
Go to the other side.
Where are we? Oh man!
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Bring back the mini putt course. Remember that? Oh, you
still there?
When you got here, was there a mini putt course at all?
I have heard rumors of it.
It's right behind the pool.
So there was a big shack, and the last hole had a KFC bucket.
Yeah.
And if you got it, I think it was through the bucket into the hole.
Through the bucket into the hole.
You got a bucket of KFC.
Oh, I got a bucket of KFC one time.
Did you?
Absolutely.
You're the first person I've ever heard of getting.
Really?
Wow.
Oh man, when it was open, when it was actually open, you actually had to pay to go to it.
That's a lie. Definitely people made it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely know people that lied about it.
You might know another one.
Yeah.
No, I actually won a bucket of KFC.
Dang.
Yeah,
that's
man.
a good prize.
I was a good mini putt player, man.
But
and
then
you know what?
the
The holes are still
apart.
there, and they're kind of maintained a little bit. Like you can go up there and play if you want. They encourage people to go up and play.
I admittedly used it once a few years ago when it was obviously not a mini putt course anymore. And the ball was in the hole. I went to pull the ball out, and it was it was a little wet. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. There's rain and stuff. It wasn't rain.
Was it poop?
It was urine.
Urine?
It was urine.
Oh wow!
It was clearly.
Urine. So that ball is gone.
It smelled pretty bad.
Oh
yeah.
No.
So we played.
We are talking about a lot of really gross stuff.
I know. I didn't want to bring it up, but I had to.
Did you have to say urine? Couldn't you have said nutrient-rich organic matter?
Yeah, a lot of nitrogen in that.
Nitrogen-fueled liquid.
Great for the skin, great for the hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's sterile.
This is, oh, the memories.
Well, we look forward to hearing more about the research into turning Frame Lake into not a cesspool. That would be great.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to hear that they're actually looking into it.
Well, at least someone's looking into it. That'd be great.
That's fantastic.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, is this something like this is city-driven? Like the city has approached you guys and said, hey, we'd like to bring this back to life. No. Tell us how to do it? Or is this just more on your own research purposes?
I know that this was a lot of work that was done last year between Derek Gray and the North Slave Métis Alliance.
Oh, okay.
But,
even better.
There you go.
I'm not sure, moving forward.
Well, you've just got me jazzed.
That's right.
I am
jazzed
absolutely jazzed right now.
Absolutely. I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
A downtown beach?
A downtown beach.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
And Sambake Park looks awesome
right
now.
there. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's revamped. We used to have an old ice rink there. We're talking about memories.
That's right.
Jerry Murphy.
The Murph Dome.
Yeah.
And I mean, being able to jump in from there with a canoe. I mean, you can do it with a canoe right now, but being able to jump in there and have a swim.
Go for a swim.
Beautiful.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
All right. Bridget, thank you so much for joining us. We hope your road to recovery is short and it doesn't pop out on you.
Yeah, I hope
Fly
so.
away, little bird.
Your wings will not be clipped for long. Thanks again for joining us. Mornings at the Cabin done for another day. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourselves a good one. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.